festy bookie boos, little book goblins, little marshmallow fluffs. We are here today to talk about fall books. And can I just say, thank God we got here. You know what I mean? To finally have it be fall is next to none. Like, there's nothing better than this feeling and this moment between us. So let's just be here together. Let's enjoy, because I mean, it's an honor to be back in my favorite season, really. We have a lot to cover today, and I'm going to try to be a little more concise than I usually am. I feel like I'm constantly striving for clarity, consistency, and shutting the heck up. So, with those objectives in mind, we're going to start talking about some books that are on my fall TBR for this year. I am going to link my fall TBR from last year. Unfortunately, I did not get to a lot of those books, so those remain true. They are still on my TBR for this year, and I feel like a lot of them are super strong fall spooky season picks. So if you feel so inclined, if you want some more recommendations or ideas for your TBR, I will definitely link that video. I do have a message for our community about fall and about a fall book club. So if that intrigues you, I'm just going to talk for a little bit now about what that will entail, and then bless your soul, once you get through that, we will get to all of the books. As always, thank you for being here. If you are ready for fall, give this video a like, comment the books that are on your TBR to help me add more books to mine. Feel free to stick around and enjoy our community. In honor of this being my favorite time of year and this being my favorite season of reading, I thought we should do a little fall book club and pick up some classic books together. Don't get scared off by that. I'm not a huge classics person myself, but there are a few that seem to truly stand this test of time, and a lot has come from these books that is in our media today and in our reading. For September, I know it's September and you're like, I can't read a book this quickly. Don't worry, my little sugar plums. The book we've chosen for September is The Legends of Sleepy Hollow and Other Short Stories by Washington Irving. I am so excited to get to this. To be honest, I have never dabbled in Sleepy Hollow. I think I've seen the Disney cartoon that had like Ichabod Crane and all of that in there, but I have not watched the movie with Johnny Depp, so I also thought that would be fun if we read the short story and we watched that movie and then we got to chat about it live on the channel. This book is very easy to get a hold of, even if you just want to read some of the short stories or just Sleepy Hollow or whatever suits you. But I think Sleepy Hollow is under 50 pages, so if you do feel so inclined, I'd love to have you join us for our live. One of my best friends, he is going to run the discussion with me, and I'm just so excited to talk about some classic books and maybe give some cool facts and details about these stories and why they have stood the test of time. I will put the details in the description. I'll be posting on my community tab with details of exactly what weekend. If you guys are wanting to vote on what weekend works for you in September to talk about these, all those options will be there for you on our community tab. Our pick for October is Dracula by Bram Stoker. Obviously, we know how iconic Dracula is, and I do believe we'll do more than one live for that book since it's a bit longer, and then we can have a halfway chat, or we can also chat about a film if we decide on one. So really, this is what we want it to be. So I care about your opinion. If you have any ideas or thoughts on the book club, please leave them in the comments. I'd love to chat and make this something that we all really want to be a part of. Last thing is November's book is up in the air. It's a TBD, because at that point I would really love for those of you who are enjoying the book club to vote on the book selection for November. Again, if you feel so inclined, I love getting to talk with you guys in our community, and I feel like this is a great way for us to get that opportunity. So, without further ado, let's get into my fall TBR. There are so many new releases that are coming out this fall season, so if there's one I don't mention, please put it in the comments and let me know why you're excited for it. I'm just going to talk about 5 today because, like, clearly I could go on and on, but I'm gonna stick to 5, starting with one that is already out. It came out September 3rd. This one is called Hot Hex Boyfriend, and it is by Carly Bloom. This one seems so fun, so perfect for like early fall, early October. In this one, our main character is part of a family of witches, but she doesn't believe in magic, but the rest of her family does, and they believe that they're hexed, and that's why they don't have magic. She's like, okay, I don't really think that's true. I think that's convenient for y'all. But she has an odd birthmark that leads her family to believe she is the one who will restore magic to their coven. Then along comes a broody, irritable man next door whose job it is to keep an eye on the women, because it just so happens that the hex that is placed on her family was placed by his great-great-grandpappy. So I just feel like it's going to be fun. Hopefully it'll be goofy but also atmospheric. I'm hoping this one will give kind of the X-Hex type of vibe, and then I'll be perfectly content. Next is one that I feel like is highly anticipated by anyone who's read the first one. It is the sequel to The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. It has also already come out. That came out September 10th, and this one is called Somewhere Beyond the Sea. In this one, Arthur is trying to adopt the kids in his orphanage. He's battling with things in his past and things that he did wrong, and it all leads to this climactic, are they all going to be able to stay together moment. Anyways, I don't know too much else about it, and I don't want to give too much away. I'm going to read this no matter what, so I'm very excited to pick this one up too. The next book is also a sequel. It is the sequel to My Roommate is a Vampire by Jenna Levine. I have not read this one yet, so I need to get to this one first. But the next one revolves around a fake dating situation where Amelia is tired of her family grilling her about her dating life, and so she finds someone to pose as her boyfriend for this family event. Of course, this someone ends up being a vampire. I know that this is very rom-com, fun, vampire vibes, so I'm hoping to honestly get to both this year, hopefully. So hopefully I'll get this one, and then I will hopefully also read the next as well. So many sequels coming out in September, I'm just realizing, because the next one I'm going to talk about is the sequel to Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. And it is called Nothing Like the Movies. It will be coming out September 24th. Obviously, this is the second book about Liz and Wes, and I loved this book so much, like 5,000 million trillion stars. I believe in this one that they are off to college, and I believe that they have broken up, so I think it's a second chance situation. I have seen a lot of rave reviews from my besties who got ARCs, so hopefully it'll do everything I need it to do for these characters. And the last book I'm going to talk about today comes from one of my favorite authors, Sally Rooney. It is Intermezzo. This one also comes out September 24th. This book is about grief, love, family. It is about our main character, Peter, who is trying to navigate life after the loss of his father, and it's kind of told revolving around his relationship between two different women. So I don't know exactly what, Sally Rooney is cooking up in her pot with this one, but I know I'm going to eat it up. That one is definitely getting read ASAP. Maybe the day it comes out, I might go crazy. I don't know. We'll see. Heading into the physical reads that I want to get to this fall. Like I said last year, I put a huge list of physical books from my shelves that I wanted to read. I didn't get to a lot of them, so again, those are in that video if you want to see, but a few others that I feel like fit the bill as well. Starting with Anne of Green Gables, a true classic by L.M. Montgomery. This is a story I have not picked up yet, which is just so tragic because I was such a huge fan of the show. Not the new Netflix one, but the older one. I fell in love with Gilbert like instantly, and it changed my whole life. So I need to read the source material. I need to get that under my belt, especially when people use Anne of Green Gables for inspiration for so many different stories. So this one, it just has to get read, and I do feel like November or early September would be good. Let me know if you've read it, when you think is the best time to get to it, but it's very high on my list and I better read it. Next is xxoo by Robert Paul Weston. This book is kind of goofy. It's almost like Lemony Snicket or like a Dr. Seuss type of book. It has a lot of rhyming. It's a little poetry-esque, but this is obviously, I want to say, lower than middle grade. It's a children's book, but it won the E.B. White Read Aloud Honor and the Silver Birch Award. And I think sometimes it's nice to visit things that your younger self would have loved. So that is what this one's for. Also, sometimes my husband and I like to read aloud together, and I feel like this one would be so goofy and fun to read together. So that one is also on the list. And again, that one I should absolutely get to because it's so short. Next is a second book in a series. Why so many second books right now? I don't know. But this one is Red Seas Under Red Skies by Scott Lynch. The first book in this series is The Lies of Locke Lamore. I thought it was really fun. I feel like his books are a little bit long, so that's always holds me back just a touch. But in these books, we have like this band of thieves, and it's basically just about their mischief and what they get up to. There's a lot more to it and a lot about their like life story, etc., etc. But the first one was a lot of fun. I feel like this one would be just an adventure-packed story that I'd love to get to here soon. Next is a polarizing series, and it is The Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. I have been meaning to pick this one up forever, and I know it's one people either really like or they're really like about, but it's on my shelf, so I would like to at least give it a try. This is about witches, if you know, you know, but it's about twin witches who live among humans, and one of the sisters goes missing, so the other one is out for vengeance. Obviously, a main point in this one is an intoxicating romance. So again, I've heard mixed things on this one. I feel like I need to pick it up for myself and see how it goes. And the last physical book I'm going to discuss today is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. This is a much older book by him. They have been recently re-released with his new publisher, and obviously they have new covers that are gorgeous. I believe this one is a romance revolving around werewolves, and honestly I don't know much else about it, but this says he's my pack, my mate, my alpha. So that's kind of like all it took for me to really be intrigued and feel like it was the right choice for the season. So hopefully, oh my gosh, thinking about all the books I have, but hopefully this one will get read as well. It's the right time of year, you know, watch a little Twilight, read a little Wolf Song. Everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. And lastly, I have 5 Kindle Unlimited books to share with you, especially if you're an avid Kindle reader. You're gonna need these on your radar. The Mystery of Black Hollow Lane by Julia Noble. This one is a middle grade book. I have often spoke about it, but there's nothing wrong with dabbling in a little middle grade. I think it just reminds you of why you love to read, and something about middle grade and fall, because it's like that back to school season, just feels right to me. This story is about Emmy, and her dad disappeared many years ago, and she ends up being sent to a prestigious boarding school in England. She ends up going to the prestigious boarding school and noticing strange symbols etched in the walls there. She has to rally her new friend group and figure out what suspicious stuff is going down. Completely shifting gears from middle grade, the next book on my list is Slaying the Vampire Conqueror. This one is by Carissa Broadbent. I have not read anything by her, but I know the people that stan her hard. So this one is like a mortal enemies to monster lovers situation, so you've already got me intrigued. Our main character is kind of a part of a cult, and she's sacrificed many different things in her life to be able to have the gifts from the goddess. She ends up being commanded to kill this man, the brutal vampire conqueror. However, things do not go as planned there. But I have heard this one's dark, it's intense, so just keep that in mind if you're going to pick it up. So going a different direction here, we are now going to talk about werewolves. The next book is Wolf Gone Wild. This is by Juliet Cross. This is an entire series. I believe it's called the Stay a Spell series. So she has a lot other books kind of in this realm, but this is the first one. This one is about a werewolf who has not been able to shift for many months, and he is struggling to fix it, so he decides he needs a powerful witch to help him figure out why he can't shift. Of course, our witch who agrees to help him quickly finds out that the wolf has his sights on one thing, and that one thing happens to be her. I hope this one is a silly, goofy, spicy time, and that is really what we're looking for. The last two are definitely spicy, and they kind of overlap with some other reading we're doing this month. So again, if you're like, I don't know about Dracula, but I'll read spicy Dracula, come on, girl. We are going to dive in deep into the lore. So the book I am talking about here is Blood Orange, a dark gothic retelling of Dracula. This one I have heard is extremely spicy, so keep that in mind. It's dual POV, and it takes place in Venice. There are a lot of different tropes within this one. Vampire, vampire slayer, dark romance, teacher-student, retelling. There's a lot going on here, so just know that entering. Surprisingly enough, our last book is by the same author, and it also happens to be retelling. This one is a Sleepy Hollow retelling. This one has received a lot of praise for being a really fun retelling. Also very spicy, but fun. I'm absolutely hoping to pick this one up this month after we read Sleepy Hollow. It's like the reward, right? Thank y'all so much for being here. It's so fun to talk about books that you want to read. Again, I always say this, but like, it's honestly probably more fun than even reading books. It's just thinking of all the books out there for you to read. Also, if you want to chat book club, I would be more than honored to see your comments and answer those so that we can make this such a fun spooky season together. But without further ado, it's time to wrap it up, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers!